1, 2. Him.
If you're tuning in to me, you're watching The Dribble by The Real Gully TV. I got a very special guest tonight. I pride myself on trying to bring to the forefront some original content, man. We in a space where a lot of people interviewing the same people over and over and over. And I never tapped into the Murder Inc. umbrella, man. I really, really appreciate you taking time to appear on my platform. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. It's your boy Cadillac Tah, man. You know, Tah Murder, a.k.a. Cadillac Tah, for all the original ones. Day ones.
Where you been, man?
Shit, in the cut, man. Just really staying out the way.
This is a lovely estate here. I've been
Appreciate
to a
it.
lot of different cribs in a lot of different places, man. I wasn't prepared for this.
I appreciate it. Man.
When we was, putting the interview together, and you said you could come. You said you could come to me, and then you mentioned you was like, you know what? You could come to the crib and see how I'm living. I was intrigued by that. I said, I want to see what this nigga working with. You know what I'm saying? So I insisted on coming out here, and I can't. I'm speechless, man. The hip hop game has been very, very fruitful to you.
No, for sure. I can't even lie, man. I mean, for an artist who never put out an album, I could say I did well. Like, real talk. I ain't got no regrets. You know what I mean? Definitely wish I could have did a few things, different, but I ain't got no regrets. You know what I mean?
I gotta ask you this off top because it's trending online. I don't know how much time you spend online, but ironically, as I was preparing to come out here to interview you, I seen Bang Smurf speaking about you. You familiar with the clip I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I done probably got like 20 DMs
about that. Right?
Everybody just kind of showing me that they saw it and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, boy spoke about that. He spoke about that story though a few years ago. You know what I mean? I guess it didn't get enough as much traction as the one now because it seemed like everybody's just seeing it now. But he spoke about that shit like 2 years ago.
Probably stick a little bit more because it's coming from Smurf.
Right.
Would you care to elaborate on exactly what happened? The way the Smurf projected it was that you stepped to your business by yourself.
Well, I'm going to confirm that because that's not the only time I did that.
Okay.
Just to be straight up. That's the only time that I kind of just walked away.
Yeah.
Just being real. You know what I mean? Other times, shit got nasty. Other times, Yeah. But at the end of the day, I always move like that. You know what I mean? When it's something serious.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I might have to, I like to go by myself. You know what I mean? My uncle, my cousins, my OGs always told me that. You know what I mean? Just go. So I never go with the crowd when it's like serious shit like that.
So people aren't lost as to what we're referring to. Fill in the blanks for us. Tell us exactly what happened between you and 50 Cent personally. You said y'all had a few incidents, but I'm speaking about this one that Bang'em Smurf is talking about right now.
Yeah. Man, that shit probably like 30 years ago, bro. So a lot of the details is probably foggy to me. So he probably know like exactly more of it than I do. I'm just being real. Cause like I said, I had multiple incidents where I had to go and check a nigga, just being real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me and Fifth was cool though, bro. So it was more of a thing where it's like, I know this nigga probably gonna handle his people, but if he don't, of course I'm prepared for whatever gonna go down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was more of a thing like that. You know what I'm saying? I came looking for the respect. I got it, so I left like that. I left giving the respect back. So it was, a thing like that.
So prior to that incident, growing up, you and 50 Cent was already acquainted before music?
Yeah, for sure. We went to junior high school and shit.
So you know Boo Boo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it is kind of a secret, but I guess in the beginning it wasn't a secret. I mean, we was friends, bro. I mean, we went to junior high school. Yeah. We stayed in contact. I mean, we seen each other. We always fucked with each other. Always. Before the music shit, always fucked with each other.
Right.
So when the music shit happened and all the bullshit started happening, I was in the beginning, I guess you could say, trying to mediate, or more or less trying to just get him to just be on some, because niggas wasn't doing nothing. He was the one that was just kind of making records, saying little shit in interviews, and niggas wasn't saying nothing on some just like, yo, we'll see him when we see him type shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would see him and be like, yo, bro, on some like, chill, bro. Don't you fall back on that shit. It ain't even that serious, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You nice, you can rap, just focus on the rap shit.
Yeah.
So that was the dialogue I used to have with him when we was partners still.
Yeah.
I guess. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. So what was his actual hang up? Did he explain to you what this shit was about while he was pressing this thing that required you to have to go and step to him by yourself? Or did he tell me?
Well, that right there had nothing. That incident was something that had nothing to do with. I guess it kind of had something to do with Murder Inc., right? Because it was my wife, right? As Smurf explained it.
He just said a girl. He didn't say it was your wife. It was about your wife.
Right. Well, at the time she wasn't my wife.
Okay.
I mean, nigga, that's 30 years ago.
Okay.
But that's my wife now.
All right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we was young, man. That was 30 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that incident he was talking about was an incident with her where she had on a shirt or something and she walked and niggas was kind of yelling shit, violating shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I wanted to get that off the top. We're going to go back to that at some point during the interview. Tell me what it was like growing up. You Southside Queens native?
Southside Jamaica. I'm from a hood that's, of course, called, from my song, Paul City Anthem. That's my hood, Paul City.
Yeah.
Some people call it Bricktown. Old school heads that know it, familiar with it, they'll see this and be like, oh yeah, they know what Bricktown is. You know what I mean? So that's, Southside, right? Maybe 2-3 minutes from 40 Projects, that little area. 10 minutes from Baisley. You know what I mean? And maybe like 15 minutes from where 50 and them is from.
Yeah.
All that is like right there, the South Side. You know what I mean?
So you was there throughout the Lost Boys era and all that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tell me what Southside Queens was looking like in that era.
Man, it was crazy, man. I mean, Lost Boys was the clique.
Yeah.
At one point. I mean, that was before they even got on the music shit. They was the clique in the hood.
Before they was fucking with music, that was some street shit.
No, what I'm saying to you, street shit kinda, right? But I'm not gonna put that on them. They wasn't on no gangster shit.
Right.
They were street niggas, of course, but I'm saying they was still on the music shit. Cheeks had a name for going to clubs and shit, ripping shit. Lost Boys was known for that before they even got on.
Okay.
So when they got on, nobody was kind of surprised. Niggas was like, all right, about time. Niggas got their shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. What type of influence did the Lost Boys have? Being after they made it, how did that change anything about? Was that a level of inspiration provided to other people who was doing music?
Hell yeah! I remember when that joint came out. What's the shit they had? The lifestyle of the man. That was my shit. When they dropped that shit, I was like, cause I'm always a competitive writer, MC. Now, that's how I came up battling and shit. Niggas taking me around. Yo, my man Caddy. Well, I wasn't Caddy then. And my man Tah, kill your man. Right. So I'm running around. So I'm always in battle mode shit. And when I hear records, I always be like, damn, I want that shit. I wonder if I could have did something better.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when I heard that shit, I was like, damn, them niggas nailed that shit. I love that record, bro. To this day, that's one of my favorite records they did.
No doubt. Yeah. So during this period, you was a battle rapper?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, cause smacking and that style shit didn't exist. But
just battling niggas in the hood.
Just battling niggas in the hood, yep.
Yeah.
For sure, yep.
All right. When did you start to take things serious and say, I'm going to start recording music?
Man, I say like probably damn near a year before I got signed. That's crazy, right? Cause somebody, not that I started rapping a year, right? But like you said, that's when I took it serious.
Yeah.
Like a year before I got signed. So that was probably like in 98.
All right.
98. Shit was rough. I just had my first daughter, my oldest daughter. You know what I mean? And I tried to, I try to dibble in a little bit of little street shit, you know what I mean? Fuck around with some shit.
Yeah.
And it went bad, you know. Like bad, where motherfucker, you know, they ran in my crib, my grandma's crib, had people on the ground, all kind of, and that shit fucked me up.
Right.
You know what I mean? When that shit happened, it really fucked me up because I'm like, damn, that shit was because of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though they ain't nobody got charged, it was my shit and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I put them through that. You feel what I'm saying? So that shit kind of fucked with me. So at that point, I had tried to like get away from the street shit. I was like, you know what, especially while I was dead, still living at the crib, I was like, let me go see if I could just, you know, do some other shit. So I said, let me just fuck with the music, go hard. So I'm gonna do this shit for like 6 months straight.
Right.
If this shit don't work, then I know where I gotta go, to the street. You know what I mean? That was my mentality. I'm like, I'm gonna give my all for 6 months, writing, battling, whatever it is.
Yeah.
For 6 months. If this shit don't work, then I'm going to the block. You know what I mean?
When did people start to take notice?
Shit, probably like 2 months into me making that kind of oath to myself.
Yeah.
2 months into that, you know what I mean? I ended up at my man Rev crib in the basement doing some shit, and just so happened he was one of the Gotti producers.
Okay.
And we did some shit that was fire over one of his beats, and he took it to the office the next day and let Chris hear it. I didn't even know he did.
Yeah.
And I came back over there. He was like, "Yo, my man Chris wanted to meet you and shit." I let the nigga hear the shit. Da 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 da.
And that was Chris Gotti.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's crazy because it's like simultaneously my man Kareem from 40 Projects, me and him was running around. He was one of the niggas that was taking me around and shit like, yo, my boy nice, shit like that. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. And he was hollering at Chris too. Him and Chris was like, you know, real close and shit. So he was telling Chris about me at the same time Red was. You know what I mean?
So that's how you ended up with Murder Inc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
When
basically,
you got there, they weren't a big deal yet, though, right?
nah, shit, big deal. The label didn't even exist when I got there.
Yeah.
If I'm being straight up, I came to fuck with Gotti to sign to Def Jam.
Okay.
That's really was my dream. That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
Be on Def Jam. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? So Murder Inc. didn't exist then. The concept came up because we was there, right? Vinny Vedovici, Ja Rule, the last song on the album,
Mm-hmm.
the song is called The Murderers.
Okay.
Right? That's the so we fucking killed that record and shit. Gotti was like, yo, I guess he was brainstorming in there that day. He was just like, yo, you know what? He said, I'm gonna do a compilation. And I'm gonna call it This Boom Boom, and the label is gonna be called This Boom, and y'all gonna be called The Murderers because y'all on the Murder Inc. And he just broke the whole shit down that day in the studio. It all stemmed from that record.
Okay. So who was the original lineup when y'all first stepped out as Murder Inc. Records?
Shit, it was just me, Black Child, and I believe Rule. I don't even think Vita had got signed. Oh, no, she did. I believe she did got signed right around. So it was all of us.
Yeah.
Me, Black, Vita. Yeah. Matter of fact, Rule, yeah, it was us.
So y'all didn't start getting national attention until Ja Rule appeared on that Can I Get a What record, right?
Well, he did that before, again, like I said, before any of the Murder Inc. shit ever happened, he did that. That was...
So when he was on that record with Hov, it wasn't even a Murder Inc. yet?
No.
Okay.
He was on Def Jam. The Murder Inc., they was in talks of, remember, Rule, Hov, and X.
Yeah.
Gotti was trying to put that together.
Yeah, there was going to be a super group, that's right.
You feel what I'm saying?
What was the name? They had a name.
I believe it was going to be Murder Inc.
Oh, yeah?
If I'm not mistaken, that was going to be the group.
The original Murder Inc. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. How far into this story did no matter what, no matter how fashioned this interview, it's gonna ultimately end up being this like record beef war. How far into that did y'all start having these problems, or did this shit start taking shape? Everything that happened, how far into that? You told me you originally wanted to be a part of Def Jam. You met Chris. It wasn't even the Murder Inc. yet. How far along into the storyline before all of this shit started to happen?
The shit started to hit the fan.
It seemed
or you saying, did shit started to pop off?
How long before the problem started? Because you told me you went to school with him.
Okay, so
you went to school with 50. So
okay,
y'all didn't have no problem.
Okay, so the problem started early, bro. Believe it or not, the problem started early, bro.
Yeah.
When I think about it, it started early because the original issue, I guess, with him and Rule.
Yo, check it out. This is the Wild Cowboy with a lot of style, boy, the great Cadillac X of Brand Nubian, and you're watching The Dribble on Gully TV. That's right, The Dribble on Gully TV with your man, the Wild Cowboy with a lot of style, boy, one of one, the untraceable, no known DNA, punction up to get beat down. Come on, motherfuckers, come on.